It's the last Tuesday of the month, and that means it's reduce, reuse, refashion time. I've been doing this for quite a bit now. I miss sometimes because different things happen within my schedule, but the reciprocal pieces here without my brace on. For those of you following along, I've had a fractured thumb. This is about 4 weeks out. I still wear the brace on occasion, but I'm weaning off and trying to strengthen. But if I can do this project today with these thrifted shirts I found, you can do it too. It just needs some basic skills to know how to sew, straight line, and follow along. I'll have some pictures within my tutorial and steps outlined, but here to share another fun refashion for you, keeping it simple for my injury's sake, but also so that you can join me in the fun. All right, let's have at it.
What I've got here is a ladies XXL shirt. It has some darts in the back that I need to take into consideration. Not sure how I'm going to run with it, but I'm going to have fun. When looking for the shirts that I was going to work on, I wanted them to be 100% cotton or mostly cotton blend or linen or something natural because I didn't want the slick poly to have to work with. So keep that in mind. And look at the cuffs. I'm going to do something with those. For my sake, with my thumb injury or the fracture, I'm using these tools, which is a rotary cutter and some guides to cut with. Feel free to use scissors and measure mark with pencil. The whole idea is to make this super easy. So for me, these are the tools that I needed for my job. Just cutting the sleeves off, you can go inseam, outseam, whatever. Just get the sleeves off and set those aside for just a minute. My goodness, this rotary cutter makes the job easy, but I'm still struggling. I could not hold that template still with my injured hand and trying to use my left hand to give it a break. And this wasn't that hard. I was just getting frustrated. When making these cuts, I was just eyeing it. I basically used the buttons at the top and the bottom of that placket and giving them the same distance away from the edge, so when I sewed that they would have the same measurement kind of lining up. So feel free to mess with it, but yeah, here we go with this dart that I'm going to end up having to take my seam ripper and take that out so that the fabric lays nice and flush. Here for my purposes, feel free to reference back to my actual written blog post, but I'm using a 3.5-inch square cutout to make boxed corners. I love making boxed corners. It makes making bags so easy, and I've used it for many years. Obviously, there's different ways you can do this, but this was the one that always worked for me. Now we're bringing the sleeves back in so we can make the straps. I'm going to lay it flat so I can get the maximum length out of it. I do have the dimensions within my blog post that you can find those there. Feel free to adjust them to the sizing you want, but the most I could get, again, I think was about 16 inches, so check that, make sure. But that's what you're aiming for here by using up these sleeves. I've got 2 sets of straps cut 2 pieces each, and I'm going to use the interfacing that's iron-on. This is Heat and Bond, lightweight. You could use heavyweight, heavy duty. This is just what I had on hand. Got frustrated here. Wanted to use scissors, but my thumb, yet again, called in my daughter Simone. She helped me cut it out, and then also my other daughters Elena and Josie, you'll see in a minute, make a special appearance because I needed them to help with their good thumbs. All right, if you notice, I'm peeling off the backing before I start sewing. And novice mistake, I forgot that, it's really beneficial to leave that paper on. So you see me reaching down into the trash in a minute, realizing that I'm going to just use that paper and lay it back on, because what happens with the feed dogs and the foot on your sewing machine are going to drag over that interfacing. So with the paper, leave it intact. You can rip it off later, no problem. So when you're sewing these straps, you're going to leave one of the short ends open. You're going to sew down the long side, down the bottom of the short side, and then up the other side, leaving it open, because what we're going to do is turn these out, iron them, tucking in the open end so that we have about a 1/4 inch seam allowance here, 1/4 to 1/8 inch seam allowance. That'll make this look nice and clean. So I've added my label and I've ironed, and now I'm just top stitching 1/8 of an inch around the edge to just give it that nice clean finish. Alright, these are the pieces, and they also have interfacing on them. This is not necessary if you don't want some, heft to your fabric, or you're using a heavy fabric. But I'm leaving the paper on this time, and then I'm putting on the straps. Again, I'll have the specific measurements outlined in the blog post, but sometimes people like the video to have a visual to go with a little better. Just pinning them on, and then I'm going to pin them down so that when I go to do my sewing together, I don't have to worry about those straps flopping and getting in my way. To attach, it's seriously just a little box stitch about a 1/2 inch tall, and you can make the X in it, make designs, use contrasting thread, have fun with it. Okay, we're ready to sandwich the right sides together, and I'm making sure everything lines up the way I cut it. And I'm going to pin around the edge. Then you're going to see I'm going to sew only those straight edges first, because that allows us to create the boxed corners. Then once you got all your straight edges sewn with just a straight stitch, then you're going to grab those corners, squeeze them together. I'll show you here, and stitch along that again with the straight stitch. Gotta tell you, this is irking me a little bit because I'm not doing a zigzag or some clean finished edge. You see the machine there on the left top of the screen? That's my serger. I miss my serger. My serger needs repair. I would be serging the boogers out of this thing to make it a nice strong finish. If you wonder what I'm talking about with a serger, just look at the hem of your shirt maybe you're wearing and you'll see like a braided edge up over the edge of your fabric. That's made by a serger. It's a wonderful machine, but I need mine worked on. Okay, now I've taken the pin out that held those straps down. I'm unbuttoning a bit so that I can take off all that interfacing fabric. And again, my sweet daughter Josie's gonna pop in here because my hand hurts and I'm tired, and she's helping me trim off all those stinking edges that I could have taken care of with the serger. Thank you, Josie.
They're done. That was fun. Stressful on my hand, I will say. Was owie. I had to put the brace on and was able to make the second one the next day, and can say that that one was easier because it was my second time doing it. Got the pattern done in my head. I kind of winging this anyway, so sharing it for you so you can copy it on your own. I just wanted to go into some things that, man, I could have went crazy on some of the features. You saw that I used the interfacing, but I really thought, man, I could have lined it. Had inner pockets, outer pockets. I love that that's this button. It just makes it a little more casual. Yes, a zipper could be added, but the whole point was to use the button placket to make it easier and reuse the shirt. And then I have the cuff here that I turned into a little, let's say, earbud case or just your lip balm, whatever you want to throw in there. And I have a cam snap press, is one of my favorite tools, so I add snaps to everything. I bought that originally because I made the most awesome diapers for my kids that had a different PUL lining on the outside, lined on the inside. Wonderful things to have because I did cloth diapering for my children. And just love adding the details and the touches to something like this. Now, I mentioned in my blog post, you literally could take one half of a shirt to make the one side and another half. You know, you could have the seam here, you could have a different color on the bottom, you could have the two sides be different, completely opposite. The handles could be made from different shirts, intermixing. The sky's the limit here, what you can do with this. And obviously you don't have to use t-shirt fabric. You could even use a heavy duty canvas, like you would see utility coats and shirts that are used on, you know, hard labor jobs. That would make them even more durable. But you see that I stuck a beach towel in here because I thought, what a way to give a fun gift to somebody who's either getting married, going on vacation. You could put in a picnic blanket with some treats, something where it just makes it fun, right? Or baby shower gifts, the baby blankets and made out of grandma's shirt or something like that. So sky's the limit. Feel free to ask questions. I'm always here to answer them. Best way to reach me is in the comments or via email. And don't forget to sign up for my email newsletter. There's no strings attached. It literally just brings you what's coming up in my next post that I'm bringing to you, and also just some insider information as of being part of my family. All right, until next time.